So I'm not even going to do an intro in terms of like the normal stuff. I just want to talk about the fact that we have a guest today. So I'm super excited today that we all the way from Australia, which I have to tell you is probably one of my favorite places on the face of the planet because the end of it has my name in it. It's Australia. You didn't know this,
it's partially yours, right?
It is partially my country. I've always wanted to go there. And actually, when I traveled in Europe, some of the most amazing people I ever met were Aussies. They were the best people. They had the best mentalities. They had the best, like, just aura about them that you just always want to be around them. So I am excited today to have CJ Flood on here because he's my new Australian buddy that I can talk to and listen and melt into that. I'm sorry, I have to be a girl for a moment. I have to melt into the accent because that's one of those things that I do. So welcome, CJ.
Thank you so much for having me on board, Leah. I'm really excited about today. I'm pumped to be here all the way from down under. We have internet down here, believe it or not. So it's good.
Even in the fires.
Yeah, right. Like even with everything that goes on around our country at the moment. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here and I'm ready to jump right into it.
Awesome. So I know we talked about all the things that we could talk about, but we're going to kind of focus today on two really main things that I think a lot of network marketers struggle with because we aren't taught real marketing, right? We're taught how to bug friends and family. We're taught how to spam, everything on Facebook and social media. We're taught the 3-foot rule and the new version of the 3-foot rule, which is what I call anybody who comments on your stuff, you message them. It's just
that's one of my favorite strategies, that one.
Oh yeah. If they even said hi, you're like, oh, hey, you want my stuff?
Yeah.
Hey, no, I did not say anything about that. I was just being nice. But anyway, we want to talk about how implementing a couple of real strategies to really get your face out there, to really get people excited about who you are so that they want to know more about what you have to offer. So two of those things, we're going to talk about organic traffic strategies. It seems to be a really big topic this year. I've seen a lot of people literally putting out in these words, organic traffic strategies, or organic traffic marketing. They're really talking about, instead of having to pay for your traffic, how do you get people to come find you about it? But before we get there, I want CJ, I want you to tell me a little bit about you. How did you get started? Because I know you are not necessarily only in and at the MLM space, you're in a couple of different spaces. So tell us a little bit about your story, how you got here, and then we'll jump into that.
Yeah, awesome. First off, thank you so much for having me on board. I'm really excited about today. I hope I can just give so much value because, as you say, these strategies, that we're being taught in the traditional space, it's really not up to times in 2020. So basically, my story is very interesting. I first walked into a personal development seminar when I was in nappies. So my mum actually used to work with Robert Kiyosaki way back in the day. And I was like, so straight from the get-go, I was exposed to entrepreneurial life, what that meant, and I fast forward through my young kid years and into my early teens, and I'd be sitting around with her clients drinking, tea and coffee, and we wouldn't be talking about, what did you get up to or what the latest craze was. We'd be talking about the real estate market and the stock market. And so it was this really weird kind of, welcoming to the entrepreneurial world. And then, of course, in a little bit of rebellious and a little bit of defiance in me, I went off to the military. And then after a couple of injuries in the military, I went back to construction where I worked with my dad. I very quickly helped him explode his construction business. And that was really my first taste of, if I do this correctly, I can make a lot more money. So we actually blew that business up by over 400% in less than 2 years. And in a construction business, that's really big numbers. And then a few things went astray in my personal life. I had a relationship breakdown. My partner and I at the time separated. She left with my first son. And I went into a pretty dark place. Then, went through the motions of trying to heal and recover. I met my now wife, and she said this really interesting thing to me one day. And she was like, "But is that all you want to do?" And it just made me stop and think. And then I was like, wow, it's really not. Like at the time, I was really comfortable. I didn't need to do anything necessarily different. It was just this hunger all of a sudden got ignited. This fire got ignited inside of me again. And then from there, I was like, righto, let's go. And I jumped into my first network marketing company, where I very quickly learned how not to do it if you want to keep your relationships the same. So that was an interesting process. It was kind of tough. And that pain of that journey and that process, even though we signed a few people up, we started to grow a team, we got a bit of money in, that pain really said, right, CJ, you need to do this differently. So I set out on a journey from that moment, basically, to go and figure out marketing, and then bring marketing to network marketing MLM. And that's been my whole process ever since. I've dabbled in a few other spaces. I did a bit of freelancing and Facebook ad agency stuff. I've built chatbots. I've built funnels and email automation. I've done consulting. I've done coaching. I've done all these different things. And this, like, just in the process of trying to figure this out. And now, at the end of 2019, I pulled away all my systems that were making me money. I stripped everything right back, and I said, you know what? I need to start over because I didn't document it well enough. And I want to just walk the path with a normal person that just wants more, that has a hunger and a desire for more. So I pulled all that stuff away. We really ramped up Soldier of Fortune as a brand and as an entity. And then one of those major pieces around Soldier of Fortune is network marketing MLM. Another is also affiliate marketing. And then also we have our own products and services as well. So it's kind of like, it's a bit of a weird one. I think it's a really interesting process to think that your MLM doesn't have to be your only source of income. And when I realized that, I was like, wow, like, I don't need a 10,000 person downline to be making a really solid income. I don't need those huge numbers that I might need in just the network marketing business. So I was like, really interesting. Now, I'm not saying you should go out there and just sell to anybody and everybody, anything and anyone that you can get close to or anything like that. What I'm saying is, if you have a mission and a goal and a purpose that you're working towards, and there's other products and services that complement that, it would be a disservice to the people around you not to offer it. So for me, I help network marketers and MLMers really learn marketing, understand marketing. Part of that is, we have our own info products, just small little info products that people can go and learn off. We have, obviously our network marketing business, but that comes way in the back end. We've got our affiliate marketing stuff as well, products and services that I genuinely use and recommend wholeheartedly. Not like, oh, I can make money off this if I sell this, just wholeheartedly, this is what I use. So it's kind of this weird combination, but it all blends together around this one single purpose of just helping MLMers systemize and automate their businesses through true marketing to actually build a business around it. And hopefully that's not too confusing.
No, not at all. It's just, the point of the matter is that MLM is where a lot of people get started in business in general, because they don't know anything else. And then when they do find out that, wait, I have to only build an MLM, they get a little discouraged. Then you hear that don't put all your eggs in one basket. So then they start going for multiple different MLMs. So I'm assuming that in the same conversation that you're talking about building and not just servicing your client, being able to service them on a higher level, you're not saying, oh, go find 3 or 4 or 5 or 9 different MLMs and try to put them all together. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot be the master of all. You have to have a specialty. And the way I've always looked at it is, your specialty is your MLM, right? That's your baby. And then you build the services around that baby that can actually become a bigger business. You can actually create more of a real business outside of just your little MLM.
100%. And I think that's spot on what you said there. Like, everyone feel disclaimed when I say this. Follow corporate's rules, right? Everyone feeling legally disclaimed. But at the same time, like, it would be crazy for me to think that if I build my MLM team over here and then I find this other product, if I try and move them over, they're going to get cranky about this. Why would I do that? But if I build my MLM team here and then I move it to the back and I say, what's the process that someone goes through before they get there? It's a completely different scenario. That's why I'm offering up little things to help people. Like, I work with people in all different MLMs. You know, we're not in the same company here. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's a massive piece of what this industry is missing, is more collaboration, you know, is the better option for anybody. So I think it's a really interesting one that you can go back and forth on, but you hit the nail on the head. You cannot serve two masters. You can try and build two MLMs. Let me know how that goes for you. Let me know, because I've seen so many people do it. I've had people in my team try and do it, and it never works. It never works out.
So for me, that's like having two boyfriends. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
You cannot. How can you equally, you know, share the love? Like, it's just not. I've never understood that concept. So,
yeah,
you know, you got it. You got to get it. Have your one main hobby, or have your one main baby, and then, you know, have everything else on the side. So,
and I think that's a big point.
So, well, let's move on from that, because we could go on all day, I'm sure. But let's get into this nitty gritty, because I know that's why everyone's here, is talking about the organic traffic. So if we're not going to just sit and spam our social media feeds with a bunch of stuff that says, hey, buy my stuff. Hey, we've got this promotion. Hey, we've got this going on.
Yeah.
How does anybody know what I have?
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, you said something so good before. Like, MLM is the gateway to entrepreneurship. Now, when you understand that, you can actually feel more comfortable in building real marketing strategies. Now, outside of these 3-foot rules, these, you know, write a list of everyone that you know. If they comment on your Facebook page, on your post, just straight up message them. Like, that stuff doesn't work. Where it may have worked back in the day because it got you more awareness, but now people have caught on. It happens to them multiple times a day. They don't want that. People don't want that. So how do you get people coming to you for your products or services? That is a very large question. But essentially, it starts with this simple process of understanding you are not your MLM. You really aren't. Like, let's use, for instance, if you're selling supplements, right? Like, there's heaps of MLMs in the supplement space, so it's always kind of my go-to to use. But if you're selling supplements, you don't actually sell supplements. You sell health, or you sell weight loss, or you sell whatever. So now you have a different way of being able to help people, where it's like, instead of just, you know, oh, come buy my supplements, lose weight. It's like, I can now start to share, you know, helpful, valuable things to help anybody on the journey to that place, you know, to that goal that they're going for. And that makes the world of difference. There is a whole bunch of ways you can get organic traffic. I think we all started organic traffic because the idea of paying for traffic scares the pants off us. Or maybe we're just not in that place financially. You know, and either way, that's perfectly okay. But, you know, if you can, you know, money and paid traffic is just an amplifier. If your message to move people to that goal is still off, you're going to be amplifying the wrong thing. You know, it's kind of like a guitar or a microphone when it gives feedback. It can go real loud, doesn't mean it sounds great, you know, and that's a very similar thing. So I think when we're looking at these ways, we've got to understand that, you know, you can have so many different things going on in your business, but you've got to really narrow in on what it is that you offer, what it is that you help people do. Like, the simplicity of being able to get that down creates so much clarity in your business that most MLMers really struggle with. You know, I remember when I was in my previous MLM, they were like, oh, you know, you just go and do this, and you just keep doing this same thing over and over and over. I won't say what it is because people will know the company, but I was like, this makes no sense to me. How am I getting people? How do I control that? How do I control how many people see my Facebook post? How do I control that as a business owner? Not as an MLM, as a business owner. If you owned a brick and mortar business, you would want to know how many people walk through your doors every day. Now, you need to put something in place for your MLM that you can use as a guide. For me, it's been a big transition over the end of 2019 into 2020. I had a very big realization around things around what we used to do to get organic traffic is really on the decline, even around paid traffic. So it's like we need to put in some more measures, some more ways to measure things that we're doing, measure success. Because if you can't track it, you can't measure it, you can't do the things that you need to do day in and day out. So it's a really big topic in all, but I think if we really narrow the whole thing down, how do you get people reaching out to you? What is it that you offer? What is that one thing? Do you offer weight loss? Do you offer, time with your family and friends? Do you offer, wealth? Do you offer financial freedom? Do you offer? And then once you have those things figured out, what is that process in the lead up to that? What does that look like? Because we don't all of a sudden just go, boom, I've got 6-pack abs. Like, it doesn't happen. There's a journey. So what does that journey for your person look like? Maybe they try this diet, then they try that diet, and then they get fed up, and then, Thanksgiving hits and Christmas hits, and they put on some more weight, and this happens and that happens, and the New Year's resolution comes around, and they really get fed up, and then they're majorly overweight, and then it's like all of a sudden they're buying any supplement they can get a hold of, and then they come across your products and services. So why not go back here and start the conversation with the person back here, where they're at right now, rather than trying to jump to your products and services, help them through that. Hey, here's one of my favorite recipes that the kids seem to love, and it's healthy for mum and dad. Here's a sweet little treat that doesn't, add pounds to the scales. You can add all these little things in. My favorite at home exercise when the kids are running around on school holidays, and then all of a sudden you've got people that are like, they're looking at you. You've got eyeballs, you've got attention. 2020, you need that attention. Without that, you will not sell anything at all. So hopefully that clears.
Yeah. So, as it's kind of summarize the things that you were saying right there is taking a look at what the big picture is of what you have to offer.
Yeah.
So whatever industry you are in, if you're talking about weight loss, what is the big picture? The big picture, obviously we know what the end result is, but what are the little steps that get them there?
Yep.
The little things that you can become an expert or become the go-to person for, as you just mentioned,
Yep.
Little recipes, little exercise things. And I know some of the companies nowadays are starting to teach some of those strategies, yep. But there's still, then they're on the back end, it's, okay, now as soon as they respond to that,
yeah,
go hit them up and go message them and be like, hey, I've got the solution for you.
Yeah.
So what would you advise someone if they're going through these motions? Would you have them create a group? Would you have them just put it out there and then just kind of keep track of those people? How would you go about, going from taking them on that journey and then finally finding that way to find your way in? Or do you continually offer out little opportunities for people to bite on themselves and then be able to, quote unquote, close the deal?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's many ways to go about it. I'm a huge fan of, I build funnels. So basically small little websites that direct the person towards one single thing. It could be a free PDF, it could be a paid product, it could be a coupon code, it could be a survey, it could be any number of different things. That's how I do it. But a lot of people will start off and they're like, wow, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to code, and it takes time to learn, and I get that. If you were to start off with the bare basics, never had any experience or anything like that, the number one thing that I would say that you should be looking at is actually starting either one of three things, depending on the person that you are: a Facebook group, a YouTube channel, or a podcast. Once you've got one of those three, you can you've got a bit more movement. Now you actually it's like a stop. It's like a bus stop. You move everyone to this stop and they stay there. And then it's like, okay, what's the next stop in the conversation to close the deal, as you say, going to be, right, I'll go out and I'll do that. And then you move them to the next stop. And then it's kind of like, it's just moving people across, a chessboard, for lack of a better term. But I think a Facebook group is a very catch-22 scenario. You can have a lot of engagement, a lot of interaction. You can get to know your customer. You can spend a lot of time with them. But it can also be very time consuming. Something like this interview right here, I mean, we've only got to do this once, and it's going to be going to your people over and over and over and over and over. And hopefully delivering value into 2020, 2021, 2022, so on and so forth. So it's like, what do you have available? What are the resources that you genuinely have available right now? Do you have time? Great. Use that time to your advantage. Do you have money? Great. Use that money to your advantage. Do you have nothing and you're sitting there and you're going, holy crap, CJ, I don't know what to do. Please help me. Well, use that back against the wall scenario to your advantage. And I think probably the greatest hack with the whole thing is you don't have to have achieved it. You don't have to have done whatever it is that you're going for. You don't have to say, I've lost 50 pounds, follow me. No, you can say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, follow the process. Very different, very much more relatable. And people can actually see that process and they go, oh, well, you know what, that recipe did work, or that workout did work, or this supplement did work. I'm a huge fan of, physical health, actually amplifying my productivity. So I'm always looking in that space, even though I'm not over there. I'm always looking at it. I'm always following people and buying off people in that space because I want the result over here. So it's the same thing for you and your business. You can really just look at a couple of different areas, but I think a Facebook group is both the most widely available, easiest to do, but also at the same time, hardest to grow, hardest to start. If you're coming in with very little influence, very little network, it's a hard work to grow a Facebook group. Genuinely, and I mean that in all sincerity. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just pre-warning you. But you can go to something like a podcast or a YouTube channel, and you can just do the process, and it's like all ships rise on an incoming tide. It's very much that way with podcast or YouTube or even a blog. Some people love to blog. I'm not a blogger. I can't write to save myself. So I very often forget it. But yeah, blog does the same thing. So it's like, you've got a couple of different ways that you can go. I would 100% sit down and go, what do I have available? What can I do right now that is going to move the needle this week? Not next week, not the week after, not in 2021. This week, what is going to move the needle? And it should be the smallest possible task so you can get it done like that. And then the next day you go, right, what can I do today that is going to move the needle this week? And then repeat this process and over and over. If you can just do one task a day that actually moves you towards having a marketing business, a marketing system behind your business, you'll be surprised where you end up in 6, 12, 18, 24 months. It's truly phenomenal.
Yeah, I think you really hit probably one of the biggest pain points for anybody who's starting an MLM, because we always look at those people who, even in any business, in life in general, we're always looking at the people who are ahead of us. We're like, oh my God, I can't do that because they have this, or they've already been doing this. And you nailed it when you said it's about taking people along the journey with you. You don't have to have already achieved it. You don't already have to know everything. You can simply take people along the process, and you can show them your failures. It's okay. You can show them where you're succeeding so that they can model it. They can follow along with you and implement where they can if you're sharing those same tactics. So I definitely think, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started Not Your Mama's MLM podcast to begin with.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we're here. It's a journey. That's why we're relaunched this year in 2020, because the launch needed to change, because the focus changed. I needed to change. That's the way I could show up for my audience in the way that I wanted to, which means I needed to make things a little bit different. And so when I'm taking them along this journey, I'm calling my shots, which we all talk about a lot. We call it shots. These are the things that I want. I don't have them yet, but watch me go get them. And at the time, you're putting your feet to the fire and getting a little accountability for that.
Yeah, I mean, and such a powerful point too, is to go, here we go, here's what I'm going to do. I did the exact same thing when at the end of 2019, we pulled everything away that was working. We launched Soldier of Fortune in the podcast and the YouTube channel. And I said, look, in a really badly shot video, because I was so ridiculously nervous after shooting literally thousands of videos and podcast episodes, I was still super nervous to hold up my phone and go, here's where we're going in 2020. And the fact that I just said, look, we're going from side hustle to 7 figures, follow that journey. That's what we're going for. I have no idea how I'm going to get there. It's now, January 15, and I'm looking at things going, oh crap, it's 2 weeks in. I still don't know what's going on. But like at the same time, I show up each week and I'm like, look, here's what we did. Here's how many YouTube videos we made. Here's how many podcasts we made. Here's how many customers we created. And so like it's very much just showing the journey of that is what attracts people to me. And it has done for years now. And I think if you really look at your Instagram models, your influencers through podcasts or blogs or Facebook or wherever you're following people, you will realize that, hey, hang on a second, I actually follow this person way back here because they said they were going this way. And that's where you go, oh, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can just go for something and it'll help someone else get there as well. And that puts that accountability in. And then you get there and then you look back and you realize that there's people following you and you're like, oh man, now what? And it gives you a fire under your butt to keep moving because it's that shot, that accountability makes such a big difference.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So I am going to put that one in a tight little bow. We're going to wrap that one up. We're going to say, you know what, that's where we're going to start with organic traffic. There's going to be so much more coming this year. There's so many little steps along the way. So this is where we're headed. This is where we're going. This is where we're going to continue this conversation.